Hey, sports fans, it's world champion handicapper Mike North. Punch this number in your phone right now. If you're driving, pull over. 1-800-808-3419. 1-800-808-3419 for a free pick and info for the premier handicapping site in the country, VegasScoresAndOdds.com. It's the only site you'll ever need with expert handicappers like John Anthony, Denny Macklin, Tony Sacco, Ray Monahan, yours truly, and many more. Check out the homepage of VegasScoresAndOdds.com for a tote board with your buddy. Follow Vegas Scores and Odds on Twitter and dial up 1-800-808-3419. It's 1-800-808-3419, 1-800-808-3419, or go to VegasScoresAndOdds.com.
What follows is for news and entertainment purposes only. Any use of the forthcoming information in violation of any federal, state, or local law is prohibited. Mike North, you are on fire.
You know anybody else that good?
No.
No, they'll tell you they are. They may think they are, but we're documented every single week. The eye is on us.
That's
and I ain't talking about the eye of CBS, the public eye. The first feeling I got when I won a bet was elation. The worst feeling was when I lost a bet and I wanted to jump off a balcony.
Give me a quick betting tip.
Yeah, do win and don't lose, but usually it doesn't always work out that way. How many times you heard this? I'm going to Vegas. I go, how'd you do? Well, if I lost $4,000, but you go there to have fun. No, you go there to win. And that's what's wrong with people. They have the negative mentality in anything they do, including sports, before they even lay the bet down. So you got to be positive. Vegas Scores and Odds is the landing place that gave me an opportunity to handicap. They let me show what I could do. And there's packages, there's free picks. What does Vegas Scores and Odds do when you perform? They reward you and they take care of you, and that's why we're ready to do this show.
The Vegas Scores and Odds Advantage with Mike North starts right now. That's right. Vegas Scores and Odds Advantage with Mike North starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and it is Wednesday. That means Mike has 3 free picks for you. He is on a roll over the last 48 hours. Let's keep it going. We're also going to get in-depth into the Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia says that quarterback Mitch Trubisky is a great quarterback. And I may have detected something that the Chicago Bears did last year and that they're not doing this year in preparation for games, and maybe they just need to get back to it. We'll talk about that. I want to get Mike's comments on the 2 other NFC North games. It's the Packers and Carolina at Lambeau. And then on Sunday night, it's the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Dallas for what should be a great game. And we've got to talk about the Chicago Bulls. What happened with Jim Boylen? Did he lose his mind? And then Anthony Davis teases Chicago Bulls fans by saying he might come to Chicago to play next year when he's a free agent. We'll get Mike's take on all those stories and more. Let's bring him in now. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Oh, Aldo, I'm glad that we're getting together today. I understand you're a little bit under the weather, but you know what? You'll make it through. You're a trooper. You get it done. First thing I want to do is tell everybody to check out the free pick line, 1-866-504-2201, 1-866-504-2201 for VegasScoresAndOdds.com, or just go and follow them at VSAO Sports, or once you hit my profile at North to North on top, VegasScoresAndOdds.com will take you to the front page. Denny Macklin stays on fire. Right now, Denny's getting the job done. Listen to this guy's run the last 30 days. This equals my 18-1 and 1 run last year, 23-3. I'm second. I thought I was doing good at 21-17. Had an average week this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I sucked. Monday and Tuesday, I've been on fire. With Bears Barroom, we're 15-12, 1-2 last week. With the odds couple, 2-2, 18-13, winning on all platforms. Right now in hockey, I don't know 3 players on any team. I'm number 1 in the country, maybe at 54-32.
Wow.
22 games over 500. I can't tell you who anybody is. It's just the system is working great for that. But this week, In college football Saturday, I was 2-5. That's unacceptable, but it happens. It happens 3-4 times a year. That's just the way it goes. But you got to bounce back, which I've done the last 2 days. We got games up tonight. I got 3 picks for everybody here. But also I have the football game up on the web. I got NHL. I got a ton of things going on. And I got 3 free picks for today. So, hey, there's a lot going on. Without further ado, Aldo Gandia, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike, it is always a pleasure to work with you. I'm a little under the weather, as you pointed out, but I automatically feel better when I start hearing your voice and we start talking sports. I know that for the next hour, you're going to crack me up. You're going to bring your brazen opinions about sports, and you're going to be totally honest and authentic. It's one of the many reasons I love you. You, over the weekend, had a tough weekend, as you noted. I want to know, a professional gambler, a world-class gambler like you, what do you do on Sunday night when, man, didn't do as well as I expected? Do you curl
I'm depressed. I want all the TV shut off. I don't want anybody talking about me.
Yeah.
I don't want, no, seriously. I've been taking hits since I was in 5th grade. I mean, literally physical hits sometimes since I was in 5th grade. You got to learn how to handle the criticism. The thing that bugs me is that when you give people free picks, I had a guy tell me last week, he says, well, we lost the Tennessee game. I'm not going with you anymore. He'd been going with me for a month, and I'd been winning every week. I've had 5 straight winning weeks on my platforms. This was the first week I went down. So then he doesn't take the Oakland bet, and I end up winning it. So if you're good, but when you're getting something for free, just be gracious. Don't be a jerk. Because you know what? If you were paying for it, like my people at Vegas Scores and Odds,
right,
they have a legitimate gripe.
Right.
But I have private clients that I take care of too that will call me and go, you had a cold one this week, Mike, but we're with you. You're 200 over 500. Look at the body of work.
Right.
Don't look at a snapshot, because if you look at a snapshot, you may talk yourself out of things. Now, the last 2 days, I'm 6-3. So you know what? It happens. It's a marathon. You know what? But I understand. I understand what Cub players go through when they lose a weekend series to Montreal. I understand what the, teams go through when they or hitters go through when they're 1 for their last 35. I mean, so when you have a losing week, you got to take the hits. But I'm also a guy that's being criticized on Twitter because, you know what? I talk to the regular peeps. Oh, you just think you're better than anybody, and so we can't give you any shit? Hey, name me the last celebrity that's bantered with the fans for 4 hours.
Exactly.
Does Jim Rome get a hold of the guy? So if you want to bat me around, that's fine. Last night we had, which is on our 20th year, which tells me it's a great argument. Nobody's won it yet. The Urlacher argument along with Janikowski. What I'm encountering is basically what we're encountering with the Bear players. Soft, under 30-year-old Bear fans who were raised on Brian Urlacher and don't know the whole story. So when 6-7 people go, or this meatball, this idiot, this moron wanted Janikowski over Urlacher, they all fall off when I explain why, except 2 or 3 that will continue to call you an idiot, then I just block them. Because those guys don't have an argument, because nobody on the major airwaves has ever laid out any of this stuff to them. All they hear is good news. And you know what? That's the wrong way to do things. You got to tell the whole story.
Absolutely. Now, I don't agree with your opinion on that. And I remember listening to you on the radio before the draft, and you were promoting Janikowski as the number 1 pick for the Bears in that draft, even before people knew who Brian Urlacher was.
You know how much hits? This is the truth. What happens on Twitter, I love all the people on Twitter, by the way, except the people that once they can't argue facts with you or argue substance, call you an idiot, a moron. I don't like those people. I never have. They're just people that are trying to just gel you up and stuff like that, but I don't put up with it. But you know what? Like last night, there was 4 or 5 people that gave legitimate arguments, and Aldo was one of them. What happened to debate in this country? What happened to, hey, maybe why did you like Janikowski? Why did you think he was better than Urlacher? Instead of calling you an idiot. Because once you do that, I counterpunch, and then you get your feelings hurt.
Exactly. That is, debate and stop with the name calling. It's so stupid. Don't
But
do
that's
that.
sports radio in 2019.
really
It's either our way or the highway. I didn't do that. I never called. If you remember, and you've been listening to me probably since I started. I never said, okay, let's talk to this idiot on the phone. Let's talk to this moron on the phone. I worked retail. I know how to do it. And you know what? I'll argue with anybody. I'll debate with anybody. But when you start demeaning me, I made $15 million in this business. You made 15 cents if you're lucky, fans. So basically, I'm cocky, but that's the way it goes. Because you know what? I was paid to observe. And I observe. And I see things. And you know what? The heat I took when I said Janikowski. Me and Danny Mack went at it. But guess what? 20 years later, why is the argument still alive, Aldo? You know why? Because like BB told me last night, both sides have great points.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why it's something that's
20
fun,
years old.
Fun to debate. Absolutely. A 20-year-old debate.
It started in 2000. How can people, 20 years ago, and people still remember it. That makes me proud.
Yep. All right, let's talk Chicago Bears. I've got a feeling. Now, you're the professional gambler here, but last week I told my son-in-law, PJ, bet on the Eagles. They're going to win outright. They're going to cover the spread, and he immediately picked up his phone and he put $50 or whatever it was, and he won. Now, again, I'm not a professional gambler, but if he's listening to this, PJ, put some money on the Bears. I think they're going to win the game, and they're going to cover. They're giving up 2.5 points. I think that this is a bounce-back week for the Bears. I know that you are paid money to give your opinion on this, but let's talk about the Bears. What do you think their chances are? Well, that has nothing
to do with it. What I'm doing is laying out my credentials to people that don't realize it.
Right.
Some guy asked me who I was last night. I said, don't let ignorance be a tool. Because I don't know who the hell you are. You can at least look me up on Wikipedia, son. That's all I said. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely.
But those are guys that don't have an argument. They're the ones that, hit and run. That's fine. But I love to debate people. If the younger generation wants to shut you down and they don't want to debate anymore, that don't work here.
That
don't work here. I'll debate you all night long. And you know what? I got holes in everybody's argument. They got holes in my arguments. But that's the fun of debating. Nobody wants to do that anymore.
There you go. Now, working against my argument that the Bears are going to cover is that they are 1-3 against the spread at home this season, while the Lions are 2-2 against the spread. Now, I know that you're not a big trends guy, and that's not part of how you chart and formulate your picks and so forth. But am I crazy to think that the Bears are going to win outright and cover the spread?
Not really. I don't think so. I haven't charted the game yet. But that's put in with today's latest news. I guess Mitch Trubisky came out and told the press that he's shutting the TVs off. They don't want to hear negativity.
I got that soundbite if you want to hear it.
I would love to hear it. Go ahead.
Here it comes. He was asked how he is dealing with all
I've done pretty good with that.
Let me go back. How he is dealing with all of the pressure that's being put out there, media and fans. This is what he said.
Yeah, I've done pretty good with that. Trying to get some of these TVs in the building turned off because you got too many people talking on TV about us and what they think about us, what we should do, what we are and what we're not. But they don't really know who we are or what we're capable of as people or what we're going through or what we're thinking. It's just the outside viewers looking in. And tunnel vision, earmuffs, and just come to work every day and try to get better and get back to what we know we're capable of doing.
What do you think about that?
So reason he didn't start till senior year. The men graduated. You should put on the back of his uniform soft serve. You can't take criticism. I've taken it my whole life. You toughened your skin. But you know what? Where were you last year? You loved the TVs on last year, and you guys walked around like you were God's gift. Let me tell you something. This kid's got a problem. Eddie Jackson doesn't want us to boo. This guy doesn't respect what fans of the team, season ticket holders who forgot. I'm telling the regular fans, forgot more about the NFL than Mitch Trubisky knows. He's a 22-year-old kid that doesn't know any better and doesn't know how to massage because he just made the biggest mistake of his life. He looks weak in public now. That's your leader? That's the guy that's going to lead this team. That's the guy that's going to win a Super Bowl eventually. This guy may be gone next year. I have no idea. It's not. And does anybody talk to him about filter out? I don't mind honesty, but then you know what? He better keep the TVs and radio shut off tonight, because I just read where Shea Pepler of Fox 32 put it out on Twitter. I mean, she says basically, Mitch says, we're trying to get the TV shut off because it hurts our feelings. It's ridiculous.
It was a huge mistake for him to volunteer that. He could have just simply said, I am blocking everything out. My guys and me are working on winning this game. I don't care what people say. I know what I can do. Period. He knows that they're going to tweet that out and that it's going to be headlines and they're not going to put the whole thing in context. It was stupid for him to do, and it's stupid for the communications department of the Chicago Bears to allow him to do that. They prep these guys before they go out there and they say, here's what the media is going to probably ask you and so forth. They should have anticipated a question like that, and they should have coached them as to what to say.
Well, Scott Hagel would have to be awake then. I mean, the people that work there would have to know what's going on. They've been through so many debacles. I mean, they got the same people. They're no different than the Bulls and the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when you stop at I know Scott, okay? And he's been there through some very good times, and he's been there through some of the dumbest of times. And I'm sure he'd say the same thing about me. But I'm not the promotions guy or communications guy or whatever the hell he is now that's been there forever. He does an average job, and this was a perfect example how you basically, got to try to round things out for the guys, show them the way. But if you're that dumb that you're going to make a statement like that and alienate the fans, I can't help you. Mitch Trubisky is being looked at completely different today as a weakling in this town. This is the town of strong shoulders. This is the town of we don't take any BS. I guess this is the town where, hey, guess what? Shut off the TV. It's hurting my feelings. You know what? Ask me. Let's do our press conference thing.
Okay.
Mitch, ask me one question. I'm Mitch. What do you think about the outside stuff?
Mitch, tell us a little bit about how you're dealing with all of the criticism that's coming at you from the local media, the national media, and even Chicago fans.
Hey, we got to start winning, because you know what? It is tough. I mean, I've seen the stuff on TV. I try to ignore it. Yeah, you wish at times, that you hadn't heard it to begin with. It bothers me, but you know what? We're not playing well enough right now. We got to get it together. Maybe the people outside don't believe in us. We believe in ourselves. We don't want, we want people to try to be patient with us, but I can understand their feelings. But we're going to turn it around.
Awesome.
That's it.
Exactly.
See, when you got people that work in front office positions with communications, PR, what have you, and then you come out with an answer like that, somebody's got to go. Because Eddie Jackson, we don't like the boos from the fans. Mitch Trubisky, we don't like what the fans are saying about us. They're alienating the fan base, man. Pure and simple, because people are seeing how people react on this team when things go wrong.
This is Matt Patricia talking about quarterback Mitch Trubisky at today being Wednesday, at Wednesday's press conference.
I mean, for us, it's, Trubisky. I mean, this guy he's a good player. He's athletic. He's strong. He can get out of trouble. He can extend plays. He can scramble. He can run. He can throw. He's got deep balls. He's got great skill guys. So that's the major issue we have to deal with. He's a great player.
He's a great player.
Well, he's watching film from last year. He couldn't have watched film from this year. But what's Matt Patricia supposed to say? He's scared. He doesn't like criticism. He throws 5-yard passes. They call lousy plays for him. Then they'll pin their ears back, and they will kick Detroit's ass. He's doing he's doing another Belichick, only more communicative. Because Belichick says the same thing. Belichick says it every single week, never derides an opponent. The opposing coach is a smart coach that plays against anybody and says, you know what, nothing but good things.
I have late breaking news. This just hit the internet. Matthew Stafford has been listed as questionable for the game. He was limited at practice today in what the club is calling a hip back pain issue. He has also battled through a hip injury heading into the Week 4 game against Kansas City and actually played well with that injury. But today he was limited in practice. We're going to monitor that. And if Stafford does not not play. I know the Bears historically have really floundered against backup quarterbacks at times.
I was going to ask, is Teddy Bridgewater on Detroit now? What the hell's going on over here? Every time the Bears are catching nothing but breaks, and then they grab the bed.
That's right.
Matthew Stafford, if he quarterbacked the Bears, we'd be going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm convinced of that.
I am too, Mike. Absolutely. Totally convinced. You are right.
I said if they had Dallas had him. I mean, I like Prescott, but I watched this kid. He lost to Oakland last week. He threw for 420 yards. He's just a laser beam of a guy. He's having his best season ever. And if we had him or we had a couple other experienced quarterbacks instead of the slop bucket we got right now, we would be better.
Mike, if you had Matt Stafford and your guy Jordan Howard, sprint the Super Bowl tickets, right?
Well, you know what? I mean, you know what? If you ask Mitch Trubisky if he misses Jordan Howard, I know what the answer would be. Okay? He's not that honest, though. He's not that honest. He won't tell you, out in public. He'll just tell you they don't like to be on TV.
That's right.
I've never heard a Bear leader, a quarterback. Can you imagine McMahon saying that?
Oh, my gosh.
And McMahon could give two you-know-what.
Yeah.
About what people said. He says, I remember the one reporter, he snotted on him. I mean, you know what I mean? He blew the snot right on his notepad. That wasn't classy, but he basically didn't give a damn.
Exactly. He would go out there and say, I just yelled at the TV, shut the F up, and not turn it off. He was very, very confident in himself and told it like it is. Trubisky, though, is still reading these leadership books and learning how to behave like a number one quarterback.
How about the body language thing? I got to do better with my body. This guy's mental right now. He is a mental case. This guy should be in a straitjacket right now. This guy went from I'm going to chug beers at the Blackhawk game to I'm in the basement watching it on a portable.
There you go.
Wow.
All right. Matt Nagy at Wednesday's press conference talked a little bit about watching tape from last year. Now, Trubisky had an excellent game against the Lions last year. He threw for 3 touchdown passes, and he rushed for another touchdown. And so this is what Nagy said during the press conference, and he says something in the middle of this that really struck a chord with me. Let's listen.
Depending on what game it is, it's nice when you're able to put on a game from the previous year. For instance, like last year, we put on Chiefs stuff because that's what we had. Now this year, we're able to put on Bear stuff. And that part's good for these guys because they get to see.
No, put the Chiefs stuff back on. That worked last year. Don't put the Bears stuff from last year on. Put the Chiefs stuff on from 2 years ago. That seemed to work. Maybe that's the problem with the team is that they're looking at the highlights from last year's offense and they think, well, we should be able to do that. No, maybe you should go out there and emulate what other really good offenses are doing. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but you can't because Trubisky will never be Mahomes. Or he might not even be Moore. They won with Matt Moore.
That's right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, so when you put on film of a guy that is above you, it's like basically back in the 60s, okay? And the Bears had a guy named Gary Huff. Here's what I'm going to do, Gary. I'm going to show you a film of Unitas. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The nonsense where you're going to show where you used to coach, okay? And this is how we used to do it. I thought he was putting that system in.
Yeah, I don't know.
This guy here, they're all gone. I told everybody after the Oakland game, hey, they may win this week against Detroit, like you said. Mm-hmm. And you know what they'll say? Predictable. Well, it's us against the world. Well, I understand. Okay, you could have that mentality. You could have that mentality because every time you open your mouth, you're asked to back it up. Because last week, Aldo told me straight up, and we heard it on the thing. The players said to Nagy, we got this one, coach.
Right.
We got this one. And then they went and crapped the bed. So you can talk all you want. They do a lot of talking. They don't do a lot of scoring.
Tooch wants to know, he's in the chat room. He's asked me this question 10 times already, so I'm going to finally ask it to you. I told him that you haven't charted the Bears-Lions game, but he wants to know, what's your gut saying about Sunday's game, Bears and Lions?
Well, without Stafford, they should win the game, but without Brees, they should have won the game. We don't have a quarterback that's sound mentally. That is sound mentally right now, and he may be dinged up physically. This is the time where, you know what, it might have helped like I said, if they brought Chase Daniel in the second half last week and calmed this kid down, it's gotten the better of him. And now everything's mechanical. I mean, he stands there in the pocket, 1,000, 2,000. Sometimes they get the rush on him, but other times he gets sacked because he doesn't look for the second receiver. He doesn't know how to play the position the way that it's got to be played. I mean, you wonder why you didn't play this guy in the preseason. That is a problem. And I know that last year it worked. But, man, when you see the top teams in football, including New England and other teams, look at the Rams, right? The Rams have been struggling. They didn't have preseason this year. So what I'm saying is it may work sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, well, and the greatest example, of course, is the New England Patriots that Tom Brady played. I think it was a total of 6 quarters of preseason football this year.
That's great.
That is awesome. Exactly.
He could have been hurt one of the 6 full quarters, and Trubisky took 3 full snaps.
Right.
The whole time.
And that's the one thing that the Bears have to get better at is they need to do what the Patriots do. The Patriots, first and foremost, they protect their quarterback under all circumstances. Tom Brady is like 86 years old and still out there playing football, has rarely missed a game. The Bears have to get to a system and players that know how to protect their quarterback, because Brady will go out there 50 times a game and sling the ball sometimes against certain teams, and he's rarely touched in some instances. And when there is pressure, he knows when to get rid of it. He's got a great sense of knowing when the pass rush is coming and reacts accordingly. The Bears have to get there somehow, some way.
And here's another thing. I hear Trey Wingo the other day, and he brought it up. I give him full credit. He says, people are talking about how the Patriots looked against the Ravens. They got their butt kicked. Then he named 2 scores each year that they get beat up on. The Patriots get beat like this once or twice a year, folks. Yeah. Where you been?
Yeah.
They lost a game 40-10 last year. They lose games like this maybe once or twice a year. Just like when I lose, it happens 3-4 times during a football season, and it's charted like that. It just happens. So they have stinkers. Look at the Green Bay Packers. Look how bad they look this week. They got their heads handed to them. Is there any doubt they're going to bounce back? Why didn't I have that same bounce-back feeling after they lost to Oakland in London? Why did I tell Aldo Gandia? Nobody forced me to do this. Why did I tell him at that time they'll never make the playoffs? Because I watched the game. I see body language. Before Mitch brought up the body language, I told Aldo on our show that he didn't look right.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. So, you know what? They've lost 3 in a row. I thought they were going to beat Philadelphia. And you know what? They should have, if they had any type of semblance of an offense.
If they would have played the first half of football, it would have been nice.
My God. It's unbelievable.
We are halfway through the show, and on Wednesdays, when we're halfway through the show, we play this music and get Mike's free picks.
Yeah! All right. 15-12, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, we got some games. We got Wednesday, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Washington Wizards over.
Ooh.
My God, just whatever it is, just take it. We got a game for tonight. Washington Wizards over. By the way, let me tell everybody, with my 1-2 last week, that makes me 6. I was 6-3 the previous 3 weeks. Don't worry. We'll come back. We're 15-12. Washington over tonight, basically getting it done. Now, we have the Detroit Red Wings playing tonight. The Detroit Red Wings, on my computer, just went down. Let me just see if I can turn this sucker up here so I can get the games up for you guys, because it's on. Okay, I got it.
Okay,
I got Miami and Ohio tonight. Football. I got that up at Vegas Scores and Odds. I got other games up. I got the Wizards over 224.5, 224.5 over the Indiana Pacers. Folks, I take chances. So that's why sometimes it doesn't go the way I want. The system gives me, like, are you kidding me? They gave me Oakland last week, and I had to go with them. I mean, you think I always feel good about these picks? So we got the Wizards as our first pick. Now, the second pick of the night, and that's over 224.5 in the Wizards game. Now, the next game, we got hockey, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yes. I am 22 games over 500. Nobody's even close. Hockey tonight. The Red Wings versus the Rangers. Rangers on fire. The Red Wings over-under is 6.5. That may seem high, but yesterday night I had the Rangers in an over game. It was 6.5, and they ended up winning 6-2. There's a lot of scoring going on in all the sports right now, including hockey. Take the Red Wings over to 6.5. And then tomorrow night, Aldo goes, he sits around the house sometimes. Well, he hardly ever sits. He's always busy.
That's right.
But while he's busy, he says, I wonder if Mike's ever going to take Coastal Carolina again.
That's right. I was wondering that just this morning.
Yes. You're brushing your teeth, and he goes to Donna, you think Mike will ever go to Coastal Carolina again? She goes, does he have a summer home there? No, it's not about that. It's Coastal Carolina's a national college football team there, and they're getting 14. So take Coastal Carolina Thursday, take Detroit over tonight in hockey, and Washington over in the NBA. Aldo, back to you.
Oh, great stuff, Mike. Those are 3 great bets, and they're all free. And remember to go to Vegas.
We'll see how great they are tomorrow.
That's right. Remember to go to VegasScoresAndOdds.com. You will see all sorts of great packages there. Just look around and purchase what you want in terms of what you're comfortable with, and get into this betting game, because there's money to be made, especially if you follow my man Mike North.
Well, I mean, we got a track record, and when you got a track record, sure, you're going to lose. But when you got a track record, whether you're at Vegas Scores and Odds, whether you're the odds couple, whether you're on Bears Barroom Network, and by the way, follow all of them, follow Aldo Gandia, you know what? You have confidence that you'll bounce back. But, this is the truth, folks. There's 4 things that happen in life that people never expected in their whole life. There was a doubleheader. Back in 1926, Babe Ruth went 0 for 8. 0 for 8. The Led Zeppelin in 1975 was ready to play Chicago Stadium. Robert Plant had to cancel. And Jimmy Page. One was hammered, and the other one had laryngitis. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that used to happen all the time. There's things that happen like that. And yes, up there with, what happened with them and what happened with the Bambino. I saw Michael Jordan have a single-digit game once against the Golden State Warriors, scored 9 points.
Really?
Okay?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah. So those 3 things I have in line, okay, with me losing every so often. The Bambino, Jordan, and Robert Plant, and Mike North. Period. End of story. We're bouncing back tonight.
There you go.
I got my fingers crossed. You can't see me.
That's right.
I got to be honest with you. I got beat up so bad on Twitter. It was like there were like 15 rounds. We were going back and forth. It was so much. By the way, I love it. I love the debating. And I just want to say to everybody, I never, ever, ever want to shy away from being with you folks and doing Twitter with you folks. I have the time of my life.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear. I know that some guys out there can get kind of dumb with their remarks, and you react accordingly. Just block them. If they can't debate in good fun or without being an idiot, then bye-bye. All right.
Well, you know what? There's all sorts of holes in every argument. But when you've been arguing the same argument for 20 years, nothing is concrete. Mm-hmm. There's nothing concrete. And by the way, I never dreamt. Here's some guy brought up to me today on Twitter. Janikowski was retired for 2 years. I go, wait a minute. He kicked last year in the playoffs. Do you know, folks? And I know I don't want to get Aldo going because I know Aldo's got a different opinion. Believe me, and I respect that. He brought up Robbie Gould. I understand it. Robbie Gould, thank God we had him, right, Aldo?
Well,
we didn't have, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta bring up one other point. That same year, the Bears in one of the later rounds drafted Paul Ettinger, who for 3 or 4 years played well and in fact had arguably a better rookie season than Sebastian Janikowski, who in his rookie season, I thought a lot of people were saying, is this guy going to be a bust? He was a first-round pick. So,
I agree with you on that.
It's all about value.
The reason I did want to take Janikowski, Robbie Gould didn't come to the Bears till 2005, kids. This was 2000. And I thought that Janikowski was the better kicker. I've been proven right. But here's the reason I wanted Ettinger out. Because he couldn't get it to the end zone. And back then, you had to kick the ball in the end zone if you didn't want it run out. because the rules weren't like they are now. We could just let the ball roll into the end zone. You don't have to run it out. So Janikowski became famous for every ball going into the end zone. So there weren't a lot of run backs. And, eventually he had the most powerful leg. But you know what? That's water over the bridge, except for the fact that argument may never be over. It may never be over because both guys – and by the way, Janikowski, I don't know if people noticed because Aldo brought up a good point to me last night about gold. That's what happens when you debate. How many years has the NFL been going on?
100 years, my friend.
100 years. Janikowski's the 10th leading scorer of all time. Let's move on. Not the 50th, not the 90th. He's in the top 10 in scoring in the 100-year history of the National Football League because when you last 20 years, somebody said, well, Urlacher, how could you not take him over? Urlacher was getting his hair restored, and Janikowski went 22 or 27 last year. He's been retired for 5 years, while Janikowski's been kicking. So it's a great argument. I loved it last night, but you know what? The millennials got an education. The older guys knew, like you and them. They know both sides.
I love it, Mike.
Isn't it fun?
I love it. Absolutely. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Packer-Carolina game because I'm interested in both of the other NFC North games. And not, my expectations are that the Bears are not going to make the playoffs, and so who cares what the other NFC North teams do? Well, I care because I hate it when the Packers win. There's a chance that they could lose their second consecutive game. Now, they are playing at Lambeau against the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers are on a roll, and they've been doing a good job against the spread. They are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games overall. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 road games. Now, the Packers also are playing really good at home. They're 4-0 against the spread against teams with a winning record, and overall, they're 5-2 in their last 7 games overall, and in the over. So there's some interesting stuff going on between this Packers and Panthers game. And again, I'm not the expert here. You're the world champion handicapper, but I just got a feeling that the Chargers, the Carolina Panthers, who are getting 5.5 points the last time I looked. Let me double check that. 5.5, yeah. I got a feeling that they are going to cover that game. They may not win the game. They may not upset the Packers, but I got a feeling that they're going to come away with by covering that game 5.5. The total is 46.5. I probably wouldn't touch that, although the Panthers have done a really good job against other teams' passing offenses. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Maybe it'll be under, but I like the Panthers there to beat the Packers. Take the points. What do you think about my opinion?
I would probably go off the top of my head the other way right now.
Okay.
Nothing against your pick because it could happen. Mm-hmm. McCaffrey is, I begged the Bears to take anybody, Watson, Mahomes, McCaffrey, Kittle. They were all there, and we passed on all of them. But McCaffrey is the MVP of this league right now. Him and then Lamar Jackson, 1 and 2 right now. Now, McCaffrey is a 50-yard game away from not being an MVP. Do the Green Bay Packers lose at home to Carolina? Cam Newton is on the shelf for the rest of the year. And by the way, please, dear Lord, I'm begging you. No, please don't pick up Cam Newton.
Please, I agree.
Do not pick up Cam Newton.
I agree.
The guy's been in a rollover accident. The guy has been injured 3 times. The guy is being beat out by some guy nobody ever heard of. Dear Lord on high, let's all pray. They're dumb enough to go out and get damaged good.
Exactly.
That being said, I don't think Aaron Rodgers loses at home after getting their asses kicked to L.A. at L.A. last week. We'll see what happens. And you may cover. Maybe it's one of those games, the Packers on the money line, and then you pick the Panthers with the number.
There you go. Hey.
I like your boldness today. You're stepping out. You've been doing some reading.
I have been doing some reading, and I am getting really, really close to opening up the wallet and making some bets.
I'm proud of you.
We got it.
We got a good thing going, and you know what? Sooner or later, look, in 2 years you'll be a degenerate gambler. Your wife will throw you out of the house. You'll be ostracized by some in your family. Why did you blow the life save? No, I'm just kidding.
If I follow your betting advice, there's no chance of that.
Well, you won't lose real bad. See, you know what it is? It's like a business. That's all you try to do. Keep it. You know what? You know what's amazing? When you can go 3-9, okay, and you can go like I did, 2-3 in the National Football League, and I'm still 5-4. Or I've still got 21-17 the last 30 days. That's called building a base. When I go 1-2 at Bears Barroom, you know what? I'm 15-12 because we have a base. We got, not that we want to lose and cut that base down, but if you got a big base of wins like I did, then you got some wiggle room.
There you go. Lots of people agreeing with you about the Cam Newton situation in the chat room. And then Swanky32 says, who would have thought that Kyle Allen would be better than Mitch Trubisky? And
he's better than Cam Newton.
Yes.
And Cam Newton was MVP.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is the new RG3.
Yeah.
So good. But when you run, and I believe this will happen to Mahomes, and I'm going to tell everybody this. Lamar Jackson, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, someday he won't get up. You cannot run the way he does and continue to run unless, you know what, you're incredibly lucky. But these guys, when they see him run, and he doesn't always slide, I'm telling you, sooner or later it's going to happen, but I like the way the kid's passing. I just don't understand. The kid was we were told, and we watched, he couldn't pass worth a damn. He spends one camp with Jimmy Harbaugh's brother, and the next thing you know, the guy's right on the dot.
He's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty good, and he's got great leadership skills, something that I believe Cam Newton has never really displayed. Leadership skills, his performance after the Super Bowl loss where he was acting so I don't know what the right word, but he just didn't act like a pro. And we've been critical of Mitch Trubisky's leadership strengths. Why would you want to bring lack of leadership strengths? Why would you want to bring Cam Newton here and have him moping after a loss and so forth? I don't like the idea of Cam Newton. If you're going to bring in a veteran quarterback for next season, I'm on record as saying open up the pocketbook and bring in Teddy Bridgewater. I think you can win with him immediately and then make a decision on Trubisky. You don't have to sign Trubisky's extension until after the season, his fifth-year extension, which I think it's going to be like $10 million. So I would say, bye-bye Trubisky if you can bring in a guy like Teddy Bridgewater and draft some guy in the later rounds to develop behind Bridgewater. That's my plan, but what do I know?
Well, you know a lot because you know Bear football, and that's why we can have conversations like we always do and debate instead of, all this other stuff. I'll tell you this about Cam Newton. He lost me. My mother was a teacher's aide at Sun High School for 27 years, and she had a black friend named Bernice, okay? Really close. And Cam Newton with the babushka looks like her black friend Bernice when he came up to the podium. That's basically when we lost him. It's all hell's broken loose. One time he came on looking like Zorro. The only thing he's missing is the mask. The guy would rather shop for clothes than shop for touchdowns. That's basically what we're talking about here.
Yes, that is a bit of a problem. When people are talking more about what he's wearing than what he did on the field, it's downhill from there.
He looked like, with the Babushki, he looked like what's her name? Florence on the Jefferson. I mean, my God, what's wrong with you?
Oh, that's crazy.
Come on.
All right, the other game I wanted to talk about, the other NFC North game, which could be the game of the week, is Minnesota at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. The Vikings are getting 3 points, and that's against the Dallas Cowboys. I think that the Cowboys are going to win this game outright. There's something about these NFC North teams. I think that they're good, but I think when crunch time happens, I have no faith in them. And I think this is one of those crunch time games for the Vikings. I think just like the Packers, they are in danger of losing 2 in a row. Any thoughts off the top of your head? I know you haven't had a chance to chart this one yet, but
no, I've looked at them. But I'll tell you this: all the NFC North teams lost last week. Would it surprise you if they all won this week?
Oh, well, obviously one has to lose.
It's easy to go against them this week because they all lost last week.
Yeah.
I mean, would it surprise you if three of the 4 win? If Green Bay wins? If Detroit wins? I mean, we don't know. I mean, It's just one of those deals where
it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're good teams, but so it wouldn't surprise me. But my gut says it's that we're going to see at one of those two teams, the Vikings or the Packers, lose 2 in a row, and it probably will be the Vikings who are on the road in Dallas on a Sunday night game. We'll see, but I got a feeling. Maybe I'll lay a bet. Maybe this is the week to do it. Back my thinking up with cold hard cash.
That's hard to do, by the way.
Yes.
Back any time you with the cash, you can say all you want. You can tell me all you want, then they go, "Here's the window. Why don't you go over there?" Oh, wait a minute. Here's what I'm going to say. Aldo is one of the great guys. I love him. He's like a brother to me. And we're like family. Here's what I'm going to tell him. Aldo started the show by saying the Bears are going to win and the rest of the teams in the North are going to lose. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's called false hope or wishful thinking. But Aldo wants to gain ground. Look, it could happen. The Bears could win. It's a shame that we're set where we're at right now. I don't think teams that have a record like ours come back to win. Or to get into the playoffs. The odds are very low. Plus, I've said this before, the 3 better quarterbacks are on the 3 other teams in the division.
Yes, you're right.
There's no doubt about that.
There's no doubt.
We're not talking kicking or middle linebackers. There's no doubt the Bears have the worst quarterback in the division.
Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. There's no argument. Nobody in the world would argue against that.
No,
Nobody.
Can't argue.
No.
Nobody. And by the way, you're sounding much better now. The Bears get you going. They're the medicine you need.
That's right.
Now all we get, if we get a win, hell, you'll be dancing.
I will be. I will. I definitely feel like 10 years younger, that's for sure.
Because Bears Barroom was designed as a fan's site.
That's right.
And when you hear a quarterback say, well, you know what, we're hearing too much negative stuff, that's because you're losing. If you're winning, you're not hearing negative stuff. Like last year, you go 12-4. I mean, that's it. That's the bottom line. So, you know what? Just win the game. I know it's hard for him. Look, nobody. I can't imagine losing in betting 3 straight weeks. I take a little bit. I take a beating from people, which is fine if you lose 3 straight weeks, but it's no fun. I'm with Mitch. You go to bed with one eye open. You look out the window a lot.
That's right.
You wish you were in somebody's car that you don't even know. Yep. You wish you were on an L platform, on Lake Street at 2 a.m. And maybe somebody will push you. Anything. You want anything, but they actually play. I mean, he's miserable. They're all miserable right now. If you had a film of them at this time last year at Hallis Hall, okay, and now you have a film of this year, the same time at Hallis Hall.
Oh my gosh!
It's carnage. It's carnage.
That is true.
And Akeem Hicks is the MVP of this football team. Akeem Hicks.
Yes. How much do they miss him?
He's the MVP of this football team, man.
You ain't kidding. I bet you Khalil Mack right now would be willing to give him a few $1 million to get him back in the lineup. Huh?
By the way, people running today and I don't, everybody has their own thought. But Monday, Aldo and I talked about I would have traded Mack for 2 first-rounders. And I'm glad that they expanded. And I don't know, Cap had it on his show Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yesterday,
he brought it up.
Yeah.
And and some people are saying they would have done it. And you know what's funny, though? Bear fans would have been mad. Just like Oakland fans were mad last year. But at the end of the day, like Oakland, it's being able to see the forest through the trees.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And the Bears right now, it's a small picture thing. They're not looking at the big picture.
You got it. Hey, Greg Braggs is in the chat room, and
I love Greg.
He's one of the best.
Saw him on Twitter last night. What a guy.
He is, and he says that if you cut Trubisky, it's $9 million against the cap. So you would save the $9 million, if I'm reading this correctly. And then Teddy Bridgewater is probably going to get a $24 million a year contract. And so that's what he is suggesting here. And then you draft a quarterback, and that's well over $30 million. Oh, he's saying that if you drop Trubisky, it costs $9 million to do that, and then you pay Bridgewater $24 million. Then you're investing over $30 million in the quarterback position. And so he's probably suggesting against that. So
well, I agree with Greg in a way, because I'll tell you this. I watched the Giant game the other night, and I really liked this kid.
Daniel Jones?
Yeah. I really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him anymore. I said on Twitter the other night, and this is the truth, and I'll say it, and Mitch has got to listen to this. There's still upside with Mitch. I wouldn't trade Mitch for Mayfield. I wouldn't trade Mitch for that mop bucket that I saw on Monday night, and I liked him coming out. Mm-hmm. This guy, Daniel Jones.
Right.
So there's a couple other guys. You don't think Baker Mayfield is taking heat in Cleveland?
Oh
you don't think Daniel Jones is taking heat? But here's what I want to tell Maggie, or as I call him now, Matt Wani, okay? Because Wattstat's got to be laughing. He's going, this guy's making me look like a genius. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the honest-to-God truth. I found it appalling that Eli Manning was on the sidelines watching Daniel Jones, but Trubisky can't be on the sidelines to watch Chase Daniel. I found that appalling, that they're afraid to put in Chase Daniel in the second half to maybe give this team a boost, and they won't do it. What do you have a backup for? He's 1-1, had a good game, had a bad game. I understand. I mean, look at Minshew. He had a bad game last week. He fumbled the ball a lot. Guess what? They're bringing back Nick Foles. But to say that Mitch Trubisky is above it all to sit is sad, because you know who sits on that team? Anybody else that doesn't produce.
Right. That's the thing, is it's a strategic decision for that game. It doesn't mean that Trubisky shouldn't then start against the Lions the following week. It's you just want to bring in a guy that could maybe give a boost to the offense.
Exactly. Why do you have a relief pitcher in baseball?
Exactly.
Does anybody go, oh, he's taking the starting pitcher out? I hope his psyche's okay. They understand. And quarterbacks should understand. If it ain't your day, I think Mitch has been at the point the last couple of weeks where he's saying to himself, I hope they don't take me out, but in a way, maybe they should. I mean, you know when you're playing bad. You know when you're not getting the job done. I mean, the fact that he needs not to hear the TVs, listen to your own head. You know you're not doing what you did last year.
Yep. Mike, you know who does not know when their team is playing bad? Chicago Bulls coach Jim Boylen.
Oh.
Leading in the fourth quarter against the LA Lakers 93-80. All of a sudden, the Lakers start chipping away at the lead, and the lead evaporates. He finally puts in his starters with the Bulls trailing by 4, a huge 29-4 run by the Lakers to win that game. After the game, Jim Boylen says that he never thought about bringing in his starters back into the game earlier. This is what he said.
Depending on what game it is, it's nice when you're able to
that's
put
the wrong guy.
Take your time. No big
That's
deal.
the other
We'll wait
bozo. Here's Jim Boylen, head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
Why is that? Because I'm going to develop this bench. I'm going to develop this team. I got 15 guys to develop, and I'm going to play them in those moments, and they're going to learn how to play winning basketball.
Mike, he left the bench players out there because he wanted to develop them to be winning ball players. Isn't there a problem with the starters not being winning players yet?
He's a disgrace. He shouldn't be a head coach. I worked with a guy named Tom Less, who coached Notre Dame High School for 6 years. Before that, Crystal Lake Central, high school coach. 10 times the coach that this guy is. I watch him on the sidelines. I've called him the rodeo clown. And by the way, Paxson, I'm at the point I almost wish he didn't hit the shot for us to win our first championship, because then he wouldn't be the inept general manager that he is now. And by the way, that shot, I don't give a shit about it anymore. He's done more to ruin the Bulls team than he's done to help them. And the nonsense now where you don't play, how do you not play this rookie? You know, the night the Bulls played the Knicks, did anybody notice Kobe White played 18 minutes? Their rookie played 40, Barrett. That's what you're supposed to do, Boylen. If you want to bring your team along, take your number one pick who's as good as anybody out there and play him. And here's another thing I'm going to tell everybody. He took the bench, put him in, but here's the key. That 13-point lead was disintegrated with LeBron and Anthony Davis on the bench.
Unbelievable.
On the bench.
Unbelievable.
And wait, tell Bulls season ticket holders, your developing team. Wait. You're developing a team like you're some bust-out AAU coach? Are you out of your mind? You got to get a win against the Lakers. It helps, and you're sitting the starters. Perfect. This is perfect. It's the Reinsdorf mandate. Finish second, third, fourth, or fifth, but don't finish first.
That is what makes this even more troubling. That it feels like Boylen was saying we're tanking.
They're telling him, and who's going to pick the rookie? Who's going to pick the third pick in the draft, or the fifth pick in the draft, or the seventh pick in the draft? Paxson? I mean, seriously, it's time to take the gloves off. He's inept. He's a loser as an executive. I loved him as a ball player, but the nonsense that he's Johnny Pax, he's Johnny Lax. Period. Wow. LAX. Johnny Lax. It's time to quit kissing the ass of the 90 Bulls that are still employed. I don't care if it's Will Perdue, who works for Reinsdorf, or Stacey King, or any of them. They got to call this team out.
Well, you said it. I can't comment because it's hard to disagree with a syllable, with a single syllable.
And Gar Forman, look him up sometime. The guy had sanctions put on him in college.
Oh, jeez.
Did you know that? Look up Gar Forman at New Mexico.
Okay.
The guy was dirty.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's right. Nobody does. You know why? Because you got guys like Sam Smith who slurp Super Reinsdorf that sell propaganda.
So what happened at New Mexico? I got him called up.
Look it up.
We
got time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
Look up Gar Forman and look up New Mexico.
Let's see. Second 10.
The guy was dirty.
He was accused of directing staff to guide potential transfers through sham correspondence courses at the notorious Southeastern College of the Assemblies of God. However, he was eventually cleared by the NCAA, according to Wikipedia.
What a joke. Yeah. What a joke. Like it never happened. But I think there's other things, too, that he's done. He's been involved. But did you know he was dirty?
I had no idea.
He's dirty.
None. That is something I'm going to be looking more into, and we can talk about on future shows because, hey, after the NFL season, we got Blackhawks. And
Is there anything else? I'm curious because my Twitter's down. Is there anything else that you're seeing on that page with Gar Forman at Wikipedia? Can you go down to New Mexico?
Yeah, not on that page.
Nothing on New Mexico?
Just what I read, that he was having players. Let's see how it says it here. His second tenure. Okay, let's see. His second tenure at New Mexico State became scandalized.
There you go.
When he was accused of directing the staff to guide potential transfers.
Wait, that was Liberty, I thought you said.
No,
it's a New Mexico thing, right?
New Mexico State, correct.
Yeah, New Mexico State.
Yeah.
The guy was dirty.
Yeah.
And nobody knows about it, and he gets a free pass, and he's a clown on top of everything else.
Well, he is unfortunately going to be around as the Chicago Bears general manager for a while because he signed an extension on his contract.
Because Reinsdorf don't care about winning. I've told everybody that. Mm-hmm. He won 6 championships, and this ignoramus said he'd rather win 1 World Series than 6 championships in the NBA. This is a guy that Reinsdorf is a guy who lost his fastball. No, he didn't. He never lost his business fastball. He's off making the money off the backs of the people in this town and putting out an inferior product. The Bulls are rancid meat. That's what they are.
On the same page in Wikipedia, it says that Forman has been criticized for not drafting these players, just some of the names: Draymond Green, Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, Tim Hardaway Jr., Chandler Parsons, Seth Curry, Ruby Gobert. Those are just some of the players.
Those are just some of them.
Yeah.
They've been passing up people for years. He has no eye for talent. He's a dirty guy, or was, and he's got a lifetime job because they all are puppets for the Grandmaster himself, Jerry Reinsdorf.
Wow. All right, I want to get your opinion on Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers, who is a free agent at the end of the season. He was meeting with a bunch of kids. I'm not going to play the audio because it's really bad, but he was asked by one of the kids, would you come back to Chicago? And there was a long pause, and he said, hey, I'm a free agent next year. You never know. What do you think? Is he just saying that to be nice to the kids? Or do you think, because this is the second time he's thought out loud about coming to Chicago, where what he says is the mecca of basketball. What do you think? There's any chance at all that Anthony Davis plays with the Bulls?
First of all, Anthony Davis was lying to the kids.
That's what I thought.
But that's okay. He's a good guy. He's a Chicago guy. I remember when he was a guard. Basically, you know what happened with Anthony Davis, folks. The reason he's so good with his ball handling skills, he started out in high school as a guard and gained 5 inches one year.
Oh, my goodness. That's unbelievable.
And then he shot up. Now he's got those ball handling skills, okay? I love the kid. Don't get me wrong. The Lakers are doing great. LeBron is on a mission. He's got another guy to play with them now. But that's never going to happen, and free agents don't want to come to the Bulls. Let me tell you who our prize free agent was for the Bulls. You don't hear none of this stuff on any of the other radio shows. How many radio shows have ever said Gar Forman has dirty fingerprints on college programs?
I never heard it.
Nobody knows. Okay? But when you think about this, when you think about the Chicago Bulls, Thaddeus Young was our big free agent who had 8 points last night, and we gave him millions. They're disgusting to me. The Bulls are a disgusting, low-rent franchise, okay, with an owner that could give 2 damn shits. That's the truth. I'm so angry because they play the fans. They play them for saps, and the fans love the show. Don't get me wrong. Nobody puts on a better halftime show than the Bulls. Nobody puts up a better pregame show. They got the blimp. They got the cheerleaders. The show they forget to put on is the actual game. That's the show that they can't put on.
Yep. People are in the chat room are saying, Thaddeus, who?
It's just look who. Aldo, let's play a game. Who's the coach of the Bulls? The rodeo clown. Who's the coach? Who's the coach of the White Sox? Uncle Rick. Who's the coach of the Cubs? Grandpa Rossi. Who's the coach of the Bears? Matt Wani. Okay? I mean, look at who's the coach? Here's the worst. This is the worst. You think those 4 guys are goofs? We got rid of Joe Quenneville. We got rid of the winningest coach in NHL history and a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, okay, because a baseball guy, John McDonough, didn't think he was doing the job.
Oh, my goodness.
Think about the ineptness of the teams in this town, and the people actually go and pay to get in.
Yeah. Steven Zimmerman in the chat room says, don't forget that the Bulls signed Tomas Satoransky to a 3-year, $30 million contract.
And they're sitting Kobe White and demolishing his potential.
That's crazy.
Because they picked up this guy, Saransky, who sounds like the Russian ambassador to Italy. I don't understand. $30 million. You draft a guy named Kobe White. And I love this kid. And last night, even Sylvie says, where's Kobe White? Where are these guys? You want to develop them? Start them.
Exactly.
And by the way, I will say this right now. I would peddle Zach LaVine right now so fast to a contender. I don't care to anybody. He's the dumbest IQ player on the Bulls. I see the guy, they're down 2, he'll take a 30-footer. He has no idea. He's an athletic kid, a gifted kid. Last night he had a great game.
Right.
Okay, 9 of 18, but I would peddle him. You're not winning with him. You'll never win with him.
Yeah, how old is Zach? Because my hope is that he's going to mature.
I don't know how old he is, but he's making me older. I'm on my game today, ain't I, Aldo?
You really are. You're on fire.
I'm pissed off.
He's 24 years old. I'm hoping that, maybe he'll mature and learn how to play this game. He is an incredibly gifted athlete. That is for sure.
I keep hearing maybe these guys will mature from the Bulls. I heard the same thing about Lamar Jackson. He's the most mature guy on the field for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? It's all nonsense. Yeah. And you know what? You got company boys, company guys like Sam Smith and other people who I respect. Even my buddy Casey Johnson. He works for the Bulls. I'll give Jason Goff this. Mm-hmm. And Kendall Gill and Will Perdue. The tenure of their pre- and post-game has changed. Maybe because of the threat of Marquee. Right. The new Cub thing. Maybe they got to add some people. But Jason Goff, who's been kicked out of a couple jobs because he's – and believe me, I know all about that. Because he's too honest.
Right.
I'm anxious to see on the Reinsdorf station if he'll be talked to at all. Because you know what? That's the one saving grace from that channel right now. Is that you got a pre-game show and a post-game show. Very critical of the Bulls, but we'll see what happens because I don't know how long that lasts.
That's a great endorsement. If it comes from Mike North, take a look at that show because those guys over there usually,
they kiss ass usually. Nothing against Mark Shanowski, but Mark Shanowski's a vanilla sportscaster, and he's a good guy. Yeah. But he's a different type of sportscaster, and he did a good job for what he was told to do. Yeah. Jason Goff is the right guy for this job, and Jason's been to my home. I love Jason, but I haven't seen him for a long time. Mm-hmm. He was in Atlanta. He was working for Sirius. He was at the Score. He was knocked out of there. And this is a guy that of Hard Knocks that will not, and I'm proud of him because I was there when he was there. He's old school, and he's going to say what he feels. And I hope he got assurances it would be all right, as long as he doesn't go crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope to God they keep him. Good job by my guy.
All right, and a good job, too, by Doris Burke. You actually brought this to my attention on Twitter today. She commented on Kawhi Leonard not playing tonight in the first of a back-to-back game for the Clippers, and choosing not to play against Giannis. And this was what Doris said this morning, and I think you heard it on the Golick and Wingo show. I'm going to play it for our audience, and then you can comment on the other side.
Sure.
It is mind-boggling to me that Kawhi doesn't want to play against the reigning MVP, and he'd rather play against Portland tomorrow night on TNT. I believe the league has a long-term problem. When it pinches them, I don't know. But Kawhi not playing, to me, is ridiculous at this point.
Mike, I'd like your opinion from two perspectives. Number one, as a gambler, what does this do to gamblers when a star player less than 24 hours before a game decides I'm not going to play because of load management or whatever excuse they have? And then two, from a fan perspective, where we want to see these marquee matchups between two of the greatest players in the NBA today, and it doesn't happen because, again, load management or injuries and so forth.
If Kawhi Leonard didn't play and I was taking my kid, I'd say, okay, he's not playing. Okay, this is the second game he's going to miss, though, in this young season. Right. All right? And the Clippers, they know what they're doing now, don't they? They've never won anything. But we'll see what happens here because he's a great player. But if it was LeBron, Giannis, even though Kawhi Leonard is the champion player and he's a great player, maybe the best two-way player in basketball, the kids want to see, or the people want to see LeBron. They want to see Giannis. They want to see Anthony Davis. They want to see Zion when he comes back. Kawhi Leonard, sit him as much as you want. I could give two damns. And you know what? For a guy that doesn't want to play the game, how do you not want to play a game of basketball? How do you not want to play? And you know what? I understand. How do you agree to just sit down? It's just so sad. And here's another thing. Now, I've said for 3 years, that Doris Burke is the best analyst in basketball. Today, she stepped it up another notch.
Yeah.
Okay?
She's awesome.
And it's amazing to me because I'm not going to get into it, but when I said another lady wasn't a good announcer, I got buried by everybody. How many people will pick up that I said that she's the best female, best announcer in basketball, lady or man? How many people you think will pick that up? Nobody. But if you say something negative against somebody that's a female in the announcing ranks, you're a sexist. No. You're trying to be honest. And unless you're honest and you tell and you separate the good from the bad, okay, you're going to start getting bad. You're going to start getting bad. And Doris Burke made me proud today.
And the NBA has just issued this notice saying that Leonard is out not for rest, but
they're lying.
But because he's not healthy enough to play back-to-back
They're a
games.
bunch of damn liars. You believe that?
I don't. And
why didn't they say that from the beginning?
Right. And why not? And why is he not playing the first game against the Bucks at home and then instead playing the road game tomorrow? It doesn't make any sense.
I thought he was hurt.
Exactly.
You want to know something? Adam Silver is a guy
He's got problems.
that basically has gotten himself in trouble with China already. Now we got teams lying to people. I mean, if you think I'm going to bite, do you think for 1 minute that anybody with any sense, after they already announced that, he wasn't playing because of load management, if you think I'm going to believe he's hurt now after they said he's playing tomorrow, you're crazy. It's a bad sight. Now you're doubling down on deceiving the fans.
Yep. All right, Mike, I think it is time for us to do the other part of our job for Vegas Scores and Odds.
Oh, we got to do the commercials.
That's right. We have to do the commercials.
God, what a show, folks. You know what?
This was a blast.
The best hour. It's the best hour. You know what? I'm sorry. When Aldo puts it up in about a half an hour on podcast.
That's right.
You know what? Listen to it. Listen to an hour. I like to do it in the morning because what I do is I retweet the podcast from today. Mm-hmm. I'll retweet it tomorrow morning about 6 or 7 because you ain't hearing anything on sports radio better than us.
Oh, I love that.
Ever. And you know why? Because I know. I was there. Aldo, great job playing her today.
Oh, man. Thank you very much. Tell people where they should go for their sports betting news.
My friend, Vegas Scores and Odds, VegasScores AndOdds.com, or dial them up, get to that free pick line. And you know the free pick line, folks, because I'm going to give it to you right now. In fact, I'll give you a little bit of a goodbye on this thing. And we want to thank Vegas Scores and Odds once again for getting the job done for us. But go to 1-866-504-2201. Once again, the top handicappers in the business: Macklin, Anthony, Hollywood, North, Sacco. Are you kidding me? Bryce Bell, Vegas Pipeline, all the guys. Aldo, I love you. We got work to do. So long, everybody.
All right, Alan.